BBC Radio Derby Sport.
Let's get all the sport with Marc Vesty. Morning, Marc.
Good morning. Derby County manager Paul Jewell says the Premier League's plan for a 39th match to be played abroad is another way of taking the game away from the fans. Jewell's relations with the Premier League have been strained after the Rams manager spoke out against Manchester City's late deadline day capture of Benjani and the top league's dealing of West Ham's Tevez and Mascherano signings last season.
To me, it's always like what the Premier League seems to want to do is take the game away from the fans, who are the lifeblood of the football, you know. It's razzmatazz. I'm not really a razzmatazz man. I know that it's branched out to go global, so I don't know the real exactly what they're proposing. But you know, it would have been, I think Sir Alex said, it would have been nice if they could have spoke to managers and clubs about it rather than just making a decision or putting a proposal to us. But you know, the Premier League and me don't see eye to eye at the moment, so I'm not going to agree with any of their ideas.
Paul Jewell. Meanwhile, a scan has revealed that Rams midfielder Robbie Savage suffered severe bruising on his foot and not a break as first feared. The Derby skipper left Pride Park on crutches after Saturday's 3-0 defeat to Tottenham and now faces a battle to be fit for the game against Wigan in 2 weeks' time. Manchester United could fall 5 points behind Arsenal in the Premier League tonight if Arsene Wenger's side beat Blackburn at the Emirates. United suffered a surprise 2-1 defeat to Manchester City at Old Trafford yesterday in a match that marked the 50th anniversary of the Munich air disaster. But United captain Ryan Giggs refused to use the commemoration of the Munich tragedy as an excuse for losing.
I don't like to use that as an excuse. I mean, it has been a massive build-up and a massive week. But the lads just individually didn't perform and as a team didn't perform like they have been doing all season, which, you know, we just can't put a finger on it. But you know, we've got big games coming up now and we've just got to recover and look forward to them games.
Ryan Giggs. Chelsea edged a point closer to second place Manchester United after drawing 0-0 at home with Liverpool. Meanwhile, Egypt retained their Africa Cup of Nations trophy with a 1-0 defeat of Cameroon in the final in Accra. In the Conference North tonight, Alfreton are in action away at Hinckley United. England are off and running in this year's Six Nations Championship. They beat Italy 23-19 in Rome in a victory which saw fly-half Johnny Wilkinson kick 13 points. He passed 1,000 international points in the process. Typically modest, though, Wilkinson refused to let the spotlight linger on his personal achievement.
I think that the best part about that is nothing to do with points or anything. It's just been the fact that I've been given as long as that in the game, you know, in order to be around, to experience all different kinds of coaches, different players, different arenas, different places, different changes in the game. It's been fantastic. But right now, you know, the 1,000 points doesn't really matter. It's more about trying to contribute in some way to the team and a good result for everyone.
Johnny Wilkinson. Dwayne Chambers says his successful return to athletics after serving a 2-year drugs ban is good for the sport. The sprinter won the 60 metres at the World Indoor Athletics Trials in Sheffield, meaning that he's qualified to represent Britain in next month's competition in Valencia.
My presence had no dent at all. How can it be a dent? I'm not the one that's making a negative appearance about it. I've served my time.
But you can sense by the build-up to this how it generates negative headlines.
It's generating interest in the sport. The sport ain't been as interesting since I was gone. I drew interest into the sport and I've done it again.
British sprinter Dwayne Chambers. In tennis, Jamie Baker managed to salvage some pride when he beat Augustine Calleri in Great Britain's 4-1 defeat to Argentina in the World Group of the Davis Cup. And the Derby Trailblazers were comprehensively beaten by league leaders Manchester Magic yesterday. Magic won the match 113-76, leaving Derby 5th in the Division 1 table. That's BBC Radio Derby Sport. It's 16 minutes to 9.
Do you know what is nice is to hear a sports interview where it isn't, oh, I love you, you're brilliant, aren't you?
Well, do you notice the contrast?
Yeah.
I didn't do this on purpose, but
Yeah.
you had Johnny Vanilla Wilkinson talking first,
Yeah.
and then next Dwayne Chambers.
Yeah.
Nothing against
bit
Johnny
of passion
Wilkinson.
there, though. Bit of passion.
Exactly. Nothing against Johnny Wilkinson. Over 1,000 points for England. Fantastic record. But he speaks. He's just so grateful all the time. We like something else, don't we, Shane?
Yeah, I just think, it's just, I just want somebody to say something a little bit different with sport. I don't know. Anyway, Blue Smarties, that's what's on the agenda today.
Right.
Did you know they've gone away?
I'm glad we're doing goalposts and Blue Smarties.
Yeah,
it's a hard-hitting news show.
You've got to get the balance right, and this is what people will be talking about down the pub tonight. They'll be saying, "Did you hear Shane and Marc talking about Blue Smarties and goalposts?"
Absolutely.
And they'll be so drunk they won't even remember what day they were. They go, "Yeah, I can't remember what they were saying about them now."
Yeah. Sorry, what was the point?
Blue Smarties, they've been away.
Oh.
Were they banned or something? I don't know. They were dropped 2 years ago as part of a drive to rid sweets of artificial colours.
Well, quite right.
But they're coming back. They're making a comeback. The colouring apparently is extracted from seaweed. There you go. You see, that's what people want to know, Vestas.
That's what we're talking about.
Manufacturer Nestle, who do they own the world? I think they do. Says the new blue colouring comes from a seaweed called spirulina.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. So that'll be in a pub quiz next time you're out.
Burton Albion, live. Tomorrow night from 7 with BBC Radio Derby Sport.
Wasn't it?